Hey Flosstube, Ashley here, Buggy Stitcher on YouTube, Shlism_Buggy Stitcher on Instagram, coming to you guys with another weekly update. This one is only one day late, and I am going to get this uploaded today, so that way I don't forget about it. So anyway, not a ton of stitching this week. I had a couple of sick kiddo, and everyone's just sick and busy. So, but I did stitch on a few things, and I forgot to show you guys a pattern I stitched on last week. So let's go ahead and just start with that pattern. Yeah, let's just start with that pattern. So first things first is I went to sports last week. Or the week before last, I guess, since last week's video was like 2 weeks. Anyway, I worked on my baubles witch. So I really love this pattern, but it's still somewhat new and I've still been struggling working on it. So I'm trying to kind of get it out a little bit more so that way it's softened up. So I like working on it. And I did a fair bit on this one. I worked on it for 2 hours straight. Of course it's confetti all over the place, so you're not going to be able to see much, but 2 hours straight of stitching on something is pretty dang good. I'm just not gonna say. So here's where I got to. So last time I had shown this, I was here, right here. I had some of this bobble done, but I needed to fill in those stitches. So I basically did all of this and then a little bit down here. And looking at this on camera looks significantly better than in person, because in person I can't tell what it is. But here I can see that those are like flowers, it looks like. Oh, leaves. They're leaves. So I'm over here in the corner and all of those are like little leaves, which looks really good with the like dark and then kind of getting into some leaves. I can't wait till I finish this bobble. I have just a couple more stitches left on it. So yeah, pretty good for a 2 hour session, I'd say. And it's slowly still softening it up. It's still not to my favorite like texture or softness. It's still a little bit crinkly, so we'll get there. Probably 2 or 3 more stitching sessions on it and it should be like broken in and soft and wonderful to stitch on. I don't know what it is, I do not like stitching on scratchy, thick canvas. I really like all of my stuff to be super soft and smooth, and with stamp kits you just really got to work on those for a little bit in order to get them that way. So anyway, all right, next up we have Manning May? Sal, I think is what I figured out what the like hashtag is. I didn't work a ton on this one just because counted I really struggle with when it comes to like being super busy or frazzled. I lose count, I can't focus, but I am trying really hard to get this one worked on. So here is where I've gotten to so far. I only did about 100 stitches since I last showed it. I mean, I still have my like threads that I need to cut, but we got our first little like decal, which is awesome, or motif I guess in the cross stitch world. Yeah, I really like it. I love the colors that I switched it to. I'm loving the design. Yeah, you know what? I'll probably finish the small one and then do the same version except large. I don't think I'll do the same colors though. I'll switch it up and kind of play around with some different colors, but I really like it. It's switching the colors changed the design, and I'm really liking how the design is coming out. And yeah, I love everything about it. It's nice, cool. You could do a small little like motif and move on, and then that motif is normally like anywhere from 30 to 50 stitches. So yeah, and because I'm like an accomplishment stitcher or like an item object stitcher, I like to stitch a little thing, and as soon as I see that up here I move to the next thing and or move projects. So with this, it's like I don't get bored too easily because they're small little like small little shapes. I mean, if I get bored of that color, I switch to the next color and it's moving on. But yeah, I'm really liking this one. So okay, in my last video, I said I was super far behind. Well, not super far behind, but I'm behind on my temperature bookshelf, which I am actually not doing based off of temperature. I'm doing on time that I read. I'm noticing that more and more in life. When something is not working out the way that I want it to, or something is hard, or I can't wrap my brain around something, I tend to bury my head in the sand like an ostrich, and that's just how I am. So after recording the last video and editing the video and then re-listening to me say that in the video, I was like, no, I need to get my poop together and get this going. So I brought back out the bookshelf and I picked the margarita stitches on the Goblet of Fire and re-stitched it, and I am loving it so much more. So I finished stitching that, and then I did like 2 more books worth. No, 1, 2, 2.5 more books. I still have threads that I need to clip, but here is like the whole thing. But yeah, I'm like a month behind. So we're getting there. But I have been keeping track and taking screenshots of like my reading time on Audible. So there is that. I'm somewhat keeping track of things. It's just I got to this, and now of course the week has been crazy, and Counted, I just can't do Counted when family's sick and there's too many things to do. But there is the Goblet of Fire. Look at that. So cool. I love how it turned out. So much better than the martini glass. And it fits there perfectly. So yeah, I just need to backstitch these books and then finish the shelf and then start the next shelf, which is supposed to be March, which is back over here. So, but luckily stitching the shelves don't take too much time. And when I'm super stressed or busy, I just do it in 10 stitch so that way I can get everything started. And then when I'm a little bit more relaxed, I just go over it. And then I don't have to think about anything. I just can mind-numbingly stitch and not pay attention to anything. But yes, I am really loving the way that this Goblet of Fire from Harry Potter turned out. So nice little trophy there. And there's not much more stitching left as far as like things. I normally stitch on a lot of different things, a lot of projects, which is why these videos kind of take a little bit of time. But this last week with things being really busy and everything, I didn't stitch on too many things. So I attempted to start this like 2 or 3 days, but couldn't get it started. But I just recently unboxed this BAP, Big Apple Project, Big Butt Project, there we go. I finally got this out. So when I first got it out though, I didn't know how I wanted to do it because I didn't realize that it had half stitch in it, and I wanted to stitch it 10 stitch, the whole project 10 stitch, like I stitch everything else. So I had a really hard time trying to figure out what I was gonna do. I tossed around, you know, maybe I would just do it full cross and have it take a while. I threw around the idea of doing everything 10 stitch and then doing the half cross with less threads. What else was I thinking about doing? There was one other thing I was thinking about doing and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. Finally, I decided I'm just going to test it out. I'm just going to do 10 stitch, and anywhere that there is half cross, I am going to stitch it, see what happens. Then when I got started, I realized, wait, the pattern actually calls for the half cross to be 3 strands. And I was thinking about stitching it exactly that. Instead of using the 6 strands like I do for the full coverage, 10 stitch, I was going to stitch it 3 strands. And I was like, well, that's what the pattern calls for anyway. So this is gonna be perfect. This is great. So I have only gone into the half cross stitches so far. So you're not gonna be able to see very much. But I've done this right here in the half cross. So, and that's exactly how it's called for. The 3 strands, yeah, 3 strands half cross. I am excited to get down to full coverage, like, or full cross section to be able to see what that looks like with it. But so far so good. I've only gone maybe 200 stitches into it so far, so there's not much to see really. But I did also notice too on this pattern that at the very bottom where it gives you the key. Right here it says full stitch. Yeah, full stitch. The other section also says full stitch, but this section is actually the half cross section. So once I figured that out, it's fine. But there was that. And yeah, so there's that. Next up, I did go camping this last weekend. Camping, I say. I didn't end up spending the night because little kids and spending the night is a little too crazy for me, and we were close enough to the campsite that I came home, slept, and then went back out like each day. So with that being said, I got some stitching done at camping, which I was kind of surprised because normally the kids are a little crazy and don't let me, but I was able to get a teeny tiny down for a nap. Both days I went out, so I was able to stitch a little. So I got to stitch. What else can I say? It still smells like campfire, which is funny. I really like the smell of how everything smells when you get home. It smells like the campfire. I don't know. I find that smell very comforting for some reason. But after I finished the cottage, which by the way I still haven't washed. I'll show everybody that when I wash it and everything. But once I finished that, I didn't really know what to work on. I was like, I'm kind of at a lull. I don't really know what I want to stitch on. There's so many projects that I want to do. I don't really know. Maybe I just shouldn't stitch for a little bit. But then I was like, well, no, because my goals were to try and finish the cottage, the Pokemon starters, Beauty and the Beast, and my portion of Sleeping Beauty that I'm stitching on with stitching colorist Shelly Lewis on YouTube. So I was like, well, I should just grab one of those. Oh, and the lighthouse. I need to get the lighthouse done too. I was like, I should grab one of those to work on. And so I decided to grab Pokemon. So I'm trying really hard to get it finished. Yeah, I'm realizing I'm saying a lot today. I don't know why. Maybe I need more coffee. But, so, last time I showed this, I'm not like at a good angle. Last time I showed this, I was about right here. And I was trying to work into the bulb. Well, I got pretty much all of this done. Isn't that crazy? I got so much done. So here is the whole thing. And let's narrow it down here. So I stitched all of this in 2 days of camping. Like, I killed it. And it looks so good. I still don't really know what that is. I might have to change that. But I don't change anything until the very end. So as soon as everything is filled out around it, then I can figure out, okay, what is that? And then if I don't like something, I'll rip it out and redo it. But so far, everything is looking really good. You got the water drop, which has dimension. These leaves have a shadow and a dimension, and we are finally meeting up with the small little portion of the bulb that I had done for a really long time. And now we're starting to see what the actual bulb is going to look like. So Bulbasaur so far is looking really good. From here, I am going to stitch this section and meet up with his eye. So I'm gonna stitch right here. As soon as I do that, I'm then gonna come back up to the top and start working that down, because I really want to see him up here, but I don't want to just do him and be left with background the whole time. So I did a bunch of background. Now I'm going to start working on him. Then I'm going to leave him, do background, do him, and then just stitch out the bottom. So far it's looking so good. I'm so excited. I'm doing it. So as soon as I get bored of this one, I'll probably switch back to Sleeping Beauty or one of the other ones. Maybe Beauty and the Beast. But I just recently worked on them, so I don't know, one of my other ones that I really want to finish, but so far this is doing so good. So, yay! And that is it for the stitching minus one other project. So the prompt that we pulled for last week, which I am talking about now, was the mythical creatures. And I decided to do the black pearl. But I didn't get a chance to stitch on it at all. I can't really stitch on counted projects very easily when I'm super stressed or busy. So I didn't get to stitch on it. So I was like, well, that's kind of stinker because I didn't work on the prompt at all, but I was like, I have to work on it. So this weekend I was like, no, I need to work on it. But again, this weekend was too busy. So we pulled the next prompt for this coming week and it ended up being monochromatic. And I was like, this is perfect because that prompt will fit both. I mean, both of those prompts will fit the black pearl. So let me show you guys what the black pearl looks like. Where is my phone? Maybe, nope, I don't know where my phone is. Anyway, I will, well, you guys can look in the previous videos to see what the black pearl looks like. The Witchy Stitcher is the designer, and I am working on this right now. So I just got this out yesterday for the prompt because the prompts start on Monday. Sometimes I work on them during the weekend if I have a lot of time, but I didn't. So I just decided to start it Monday, how it's supposed to be. And I ended up getting 428 stitches done on it last night or yesterday. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. And so far this morning, I've gotten like 238 or something. So we're making some really good progress on this prompt because that's normally about my stopping point is the 400, so 600-ish stitches is normally what I get done for a prompt. But I'm gonna keep going with it because this one, I feel bad that I didn't stitch enough on it. Well, I didn't stitch it at all last week. So I'm gonna come back with a vengeance. I'm gonna make up for it. And so let me move my needle minder here and show you what I've done. So here is what I've done. This is 18 count Be Stitch Me fabric, Boneyard, I believe. And I did change the pattern. Remember, I am doing the ship all in tent stitch. I'm using half the amount of floss I'm supposed to. So I'm only using 2 strands instead of 4 because I want it to be more like a ghostly ship like the black pearl is. So I've finished the black pearl, the writing black pearl, and I'm stitching the kraken right here, full cross. I will stitch the waves in the water full cross, but the actual ship itself will be all half cross or 10 stitch, whatever you want to call it. So that is that. And it's looking so good. I really love this pattern. I really love the monochromatic. It makes things so much easier. It's a really good one also too when I am a little stressed out to just go over everything 10 stitch and then kind of go back over it full cross. Sorry, had tea on. But still, I still really struggle with the counted when things get a little too crazy. So far though, this is definitely one of my favorites, and I'm really glad I got to work on it this week, and will continue to work on it the rest of the week, basically. So there we go. Now I said I was going to work on The Little Mermaid and get caught up on that. I didn't do that. That will be this week's project along with the bookshelf. So hopefully this week will be a little less crazy and I can get caught up on some of my priority stitching, like things that I need to get done. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that's it for the stitching. If y'all have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions. If you just want to say hi, then hi, leave me a comment down below. I'm happy to talk to every single one of you. I hope y'all stay safe, stay warm, and take care. Bye.